You're listening to the Journey podcast. Entrepreneurs typically experience a lot of stress and anxiety, and business coaching specifically for entrepreneur well-being can make a world of difference. Find out more in this episode. Hi, I'm Petra Brunbauer, and with decades of experience with sadness, pain, anxiety, and stress, I finally figured out how to leave all that behind. And this podcast shows you how to break free permanently so you can reclaim your sanity and find the self-esteem and energy to go after the life you desire. With real talk about mental health, holistic healing, and the tough journey of coming out the other end. This is the Journey Podcast. Welcome to today's episode. Today is part of International Stress Awareness Week, and this is a special bonus episode. Running your own business can be very rewarding. Maybe you finally decided to follow your dreams and passions, or perhaps you gladly traded in a boss for being your own boss. Whatever the reason for starting or running your own business, it's safe to say that being an entrepreneur comes with its very own set of stress and anxiety, and that is where business and property coach Kerry Paul comes in. She understands the entrepreneurial struggles all too well, and her coaching specializes in helping business owners thrive while finding their work-life balance and supporting their mental well-being. Kerry jumped into business in her late 20s and started from zero. She had no experience or training in the property industry and no client base either. She did have an unshakable connection with who she was and her vision to renovate property for clients. Using subtle holistic principles as the foundations for her business and her personal growth gave her the resilience to break through a lot of barriers and overcome many challenges. Implementing such an unconventional way of conducting business, particularly in the construction industry, proved to be a successful strategy time and time again. She knew her way of being was her way of doing everything in her business. It was the secret sauce that created all her milestones. Since then, Kerry has led the way for entrepreneurs to access their inner business wisdom to grow their business along with practical strategies in key areas of their business, which in turn create a thriving business and their innermost meaningful life goals. Without further ado, here's my interview with Kerry Paul. Hi, Kerry. It's so great to have you on the podcast. I've been looking forward to getting to chat with you about your unique approach to business through holistic resources. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Petra. I am so excited to be here. I love this journey of self-exploration and really transforming into who we want to be and how that actually affects our business in particular is sort of my area. So I'm super excited to be sharing that with you and with your audience today. So thank you for having me on board.
Yeah, thank you for taking the time to come on. And for starters, can you share a little bit about yourself and how you got into this work?
Yeah, absolutely. I have a background in corporate business operations and training and development and sales. And sort of up to my early 20s, I went through the society's checklist of having a corporate career, and I sort of got as far as I could with that, or I wanted to with that, and got married and got a house and was ticking all the boxes. And then I still felt unfulfilled. Like I still had this void in my heart that I just couldn't touch. It didn't matter what I did. And I got to the point in my early 20s that I was actually asking some pretty big questions. What is this universe all about? Like, why am I here? How does it all connect? Like, what goes on with this big wide world of ours and what's beyond it? And it's sort of led me down a track of exploring lots of different modalities and really starting to understand the universe from even down to the itty bitty quarks and sparks and things in the quantum physics realm and science, and really starting to unpick the humanness of us and what makes us tick and how we think and why we think and our emotions and our connection to absolutely everything, and right down to our cellular biology of how our thoughts and our emotions actually can change. We can change all of that. We can change our biology, and nothing was actually set in stone. And yet at the time, I thought that everything was set in stone, like my reality was the truth. And it started to really open the world up to me. And so that just was a journey of exploration for my own personal discovery and curiosity and expansion as well of 20 odd years. And then alongside that, I had this parallel life running where I was this corporate person and coaching business women right from the early 20s at a side hustle of being an entrepreneur, as well as having my full-time gig. And it just evolved from there. As I started to evolve myself, I had my own business. I started with nothing. I had no clients. I had no trade qualifications. I went into construction industry that's male dominated, and I was a female. I had so many challenges and limitations that were self-imposed from other people. And I had to really uncover those for myself and what that meant and work through those. And I built a really successful business. I ended up burning out as an entrepreneur and a business owner and a female. I did absolutely everything. I was on the tools, running the books, getting the quotes, doing everything. And I loved it. I was totally passionate and fully alive. Yeah, now I combine both. I have a very unconventional business approach. So I call myself the unconventional business coach, and I'm Coach Kerry. And that's what my clients call me. Endearingly, I love it. It's a combination of the humanness and human evolution and understanding who we are that really impacts our business, either for the successes we achieve or the failures and the stumbling blocks that we need to overcome to gain the accomplishments of what we really want to experience in business and our gifts and our talents for what we really want to share with the world. So that's sort of how that all came together, really.
Mm-hmm. What an amazing journey. Thank you so much for sharing that. And from your perspective, what is unique about the blend of practical business advice and the holistic resources that you offer for your clients?
Thank you, Petra. That's such a great topic that I love to dive into because it is unique. It is unconventional. It's working practical business skills and advice in how to have a functioning, productive, streamlined operation. And also, it's the unique blending of holistic resources and tools so that the business owner can evolve on their own business journey from being self-employed to being an entrepreneur to being a business owner, having come from usually being employed. So there's a lot of different mindset shifts and a lot of pressure and challenge that happens in the journey of business that we then need to evolve through. And the combination of having the holistic approach and understanding the humanness and working with the transformation side of things with business owners, pairing that into their business is they get the direct feedback from their business as to what's working and what's showing up and what's not working. That's the self-reflection that business offers, and it's amazing. It's phenomenal when you actually unveil it and see it in that way. And the other thing is that it cuts straight through to the deeper layers of humanness itself, our beliefs, our emotions, our body, our connection to everything, how everything is energetically connected and in a direct relationship. So I've seen over my time how, not just clients that I've worked with, but large organizations right down to single solo operations. The business is always in direct relationship with whoever is in the director seat. It's a little bit like a ship out at sea. If the captain hasn't made the map, it doesn't hold true that vision, it doesn't have the heart as the compass, and it doesn't have the self-resilience and build those tools of coming out of self-doubt and into self-belief, we can't weather the storms. We don't get to the destination. And soon enough, the ship ends up drifting or it succumbs to the deep depth of the ocean. The analogy of that really, and why I shared that, is because the relationship is energetic. It's our thoughts, it's our emotions, and we're not feeling it. And we're trapped in our own sense of self-limitation. We can't move our business forward. Like our business needs us to be on task and keeping the lantern alive, so to speak, and keeping that track running towards what it is that our vision and our purpose is aligning us for.
Mm-hmm. And that's some really important advice.
It's really profound and powerful. And I found that it gets the quickest movement and the fastest acceleration for business results for business owners when they really start to look at who they are and why they do things. And sometimes it's the actions that they're not taking and what they're avoiding that you uncover and gain a different perspective and use some holistic tools and resources to really transform that. And then their business just takes off. The bottleneck becomes open and the floodgates of abundance and potential and possibilities just really start to move the business forward. And it's just so amazing to watch.
Mm-hmm. And what types of modalities or holistic resources do you work with in your groups or one-on-one clients?
There's been a huge range over the last 20 years of this self-exploration and discovery, and it's taken to me a lot of different parts of the world, like Nepal, where I studied with a grandmaster sound healer. It's taken to me to China, where I studied, funny enough, Australian flower essence and became a practitioner, an advanced practitioner over in China. They were just doing a world tour. I was already over that way doing my singing bowl training in Nepal, and it's taken me through to Europe, where I've done energy trainings and become an energy healer, and really has explored the world of meditation, visualization, journaling, to really start to uncover what our deepest limitations and encultured patterns, our belief programs that were there to protect us a certain time of our life, but we didn't ever change them. We didn't actually realize they were running. And so they don't serve us now, but they served us, when we were 12 years old. The different sorts of modalities. A belief change process is another one. I did that in my early 20s, which was amazing. That was so pivotal in the change of who I was back then, and really started to give me the courage to go, heck, I can start my own business. I can launch into that. I was a young woman in my late 20s and had an idea and a bunch of courage and just went for it. But I did have an unwavering trust in myself, because I'd started to evolve that deeper connection with who I was and to the rest of the universe. I'd started to put all of that together. I knew I was universally supported. I knew I had an unwavering belief in myself, but I had to develop that. I didn't come out of the womb having that. And I had to unpick a few things to then rebuild a few things. So that's really been the modalities that I use, that I've accumulated over 20 years. And I was working with clients full time before I started my renovation business in property. And I was facilitating their transformation of their belief change processes and doing energy work with them. And they were having amazing shifts in their personal lives, in relationships, not just to who they were. And they weren't in business then. It was clients from all walks of life and children and what have you. And it was then that I was really running 2 full-time careers, and I had to decide. So I decided to go into the transformation of property, because it was very practical and it was very spiritual for me. So it was the best of both worlds, and I just absolutely adored that experience. That's really the sort of modalities that we use, and it's not prescribed. Like, not every single client that I work with, whether it's in a group workshop setting or whether it's an individual coaching session, we don't always use the same modalities for change and transformation, because every client is at a different position in life. They bring their own set of past experiences, and we want to tap into their own frequency of emotions and scale of resonance. Different modalities suited to different people for different outcomes. So I just tailor it to whatever it is that they require at that time, depending on where it is they want to get to. And that's the beauty of having lots of different tools and resources in my handbag, so to speak. I can just pull out whatever I require to help somebody move forward in their journey and start to evolve and expand into more of their potential and their gifts and what they want to share with the world.
Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you so much for sharing that. And that is true. I love how individual that is and how you can really meet people where they're at. That sounds really great. And let's talk a little bit about how what you do can support mental health for entrepreneurs, because, let's face it, being an entrepreneur can be very stressful. And especially if you're a woman who also wears many hats, like we usually all do. You're a mom, a wife, a business owner, and many other things. And there can be a lot of stress and anxiety and even other mental health problems crop up when you are running a business. So how do you support mental health for entrepreneurs?
Yes, that is so true. I think everything that you just mentioned there, especially for women, not discounting the men going in this journey because they have a different set of core values and belief systems that are in place for different reasons. For men, this is one of the biggest difference between men and women. We are actually different on a lot of different levels. Women in particular, we are juggling not just our own sort of self-distractions of everything that demands our attention, whether it be kids or work or business and clients and Facebook and Instagrams and cooking dinner and everything that make sure the household is running. We're also the nurturers. So we're not only holding the practical space and functionality and organization of everything, but as women, we're also holding the emotional and mental space to really embrace and hold others and nurture others as they're on their journey. I think that's just inherent for women, and that's our divine feminine. We're creators, we give life, we support life, and that is our primary entry into the world. And it's a very powerful energy space to be in as women, is to embrace that divine connection and that divine creation for all that is of life in our universe, and it does extend far beyond, but I feel like that's going to be another podcast topic. We really look at supporting the mental health in reconnecting them to their own belief and their own personal values. So taking them out of the head and into the body is another sort of practice that we do frequently, and it helps to change the perspective. Every modality that we use helps to unveil their true potential and the absolute universal truth that lies within them, within their DNA, within the space in between every single cell. Promotes courage. It gives them greater clarity for their vision and their mission. It helps to slow things down. And most importantly, when I'm working with entrepreneurs and business owners on transforming their self-doubt into unwavering self-belief, it really stops the mental looping of second guessing themselves all the time, like doubting their skills and their abilities and giving up on their dreams and becoming one of the business failure statistics rather than one of the business success statistics. We know globally, small businesses within the first 5 years, it's a very, very devastatingly low, in fact, success rate, where the business owner is actually able to reach their goals and their visions of having a greater purpose in life that they want to share through their business with the rest of the world, and create the life and financial freedoms and flexibilities that they desire, doing something that they absolutely enjoy doing. And thinking of all of those businesses that sort of succumb to the failure rate within the first 5 years, it is devastating that entrepreneurs give up on their dreams and they sacrifice their dreams because sometimes it's circumstantial and sometimes it's economical, but most of the time, because all the how-tos of business are already there, right? So why isn't everybody successful? And it comes down to what we think and building our resilience and our strength and knowing that we're connected and universally loved and supported, and changing from the overwhelm and the I'm not good enough scenarios and stories and I can't and it's not possible. And we trap ourselves into the limited thinking and it gets stuck in our body, and we have to really change that and unveil that. It doesn't mean we have to go back to the past all the time. It does mean that we may need to have a look at some things and transform some things to be able to move into the direction of what it is we do really want to create and what we do really want to share with the world and what lights us up. So that was probably a bit of a long explanation, sorry.
No, that's fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom. I find this really interesting and I'm learning so much. And I believe that listeners who are women and also business owners find this very helpful as well. If there are listeners out there now that would like to connect with you, what could they sort of expect to experience when they work with you?
Yeah, it's a very, very supportive environment. It's not too woo-woo. It's very practical. it is very conversational based, because through the conversation, through language, through discussions of the business and understanding some of what's challenging them in their business, I'm able to actually get to sort of the root cause of what they're thinking and how they're feeling, and what's that limitation and that trap that's holding them back from, making those sales calls or connecting with customers or asking for testimonials and getting that feedback. We shy away from a lot of those kind of core tasks that we absolutely need to have: managing staff, how to have hard conversations, all of those little bits and pieces that are day to day or end of financial year reviews, doesn't matter what it is. We look at what's happening in the business. We discuss it to identify where they're going, where they really want to go, where they're at, and what the challenges are. And quite often there's like an intuitive download that happens through my connection with wisdom that is sort of bypasses anything to do with my physiology or thoughts or emotions. And it is actually a direct download that is intuitive for that particular client. And that's really special. When we develop a relationship and we're connected in that loving, supported space, there's no judgment. It's only about really uncovering your gifts and unlock your limitations and go through that transformation process. Is just so empowering, and I absolutely love it, as much as my clients obviously get the benefits out of it as well, because they grow as a human being and they see the world different. Their relationships at home change. Even though we're really working on business, the business results change and they accelerate and they gain more freedom and gain more financial independence as well. So that's how we roll.
That sounds amazing. And I love the supportive, encouraging environment that you create. It sounds fantastic for women business owners for sure. And could you go over some of your programs and services so listeners can get a feel for how they could connect with you in their journey as an entrepreneur?
Yeah, absolutely. I have my website, which does change from time to time, different coaching packages. I don't have a hard and fixed sort of set thing. There's always different workshops happening. There's different topics. Like at the moment, I'm working specifically with self-doubt and changing that into the unwavering self-belief, because I feel that that's what accelerates the most. So there's going to be some great little workshops and free tools and resources coming out around that. And that may change, like in another 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, it'll be a different topic in and around business. So stay tuned on the website. You can always find me on my LinkedIn profile as Coach Kerry, and my business page, which is Being in Business, which is obviously self-explanatory with what we've just talked about today. And my Facebook page, which I must be quite honest, I don't spend a lot of time on my Facebook page, so it's a little bit empty, but come along and connect. You always got my mobile number. I've had the same mobile number for the last 20 plus years, even right through my business, and as it will carry me through for the next 20, I'm sure. Reach out to email me, call me, instant message me. I don't mind. Business questions, or book a 30-minute discovery session and let's just have a chat and see where you're at and get some tips and advice and see if we work together a little bit more if you're ready.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Kerry, for going over those. And we will be linking to all of Kerry's offerings in the show notes as well. So be sure to have a look there for all the ways that you can connect with Kerry directly. Well, this has been another incredible episode, and I hope our listeners have enjoyed the journey into entrepreneurship and holistic health as much as I have. It has been a pleasure chatting with you on the podcast today, Kerry. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me, Petra. It's been amazing.
Thank you, and take care.
Bye for now.
Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to listen in. If you enjoy the Journey podcast, please subscribe, share on social media, and leave us a review. And be sure to get your copy of our brand new ebook called Break Free. Sending you love and courage, and see you next week. Until then, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and the Journey blog.